How's it going, COC student athletes? Coach Crater with you with Albert and our guest today, Jeff Forrest. So we're going to get right to it, introduce him. Jeff Forrest is our Vice President of Economic and Workforce Development. He came to COC in 2016. We were actually on a few committees together because I got hired full-time when he got here as well. So got to know him a lot through stuff we did there. He's been a huge supporter of COC athletics throughout the years. He loves the student athletes and all students on campus. So kind of getting started with that, Jeff, would you mind kind of describing what your job title means, and then maybe add on to it a little bit too, as far as why you wanted to be and work at a community college?
Sure. Thanks a lot, Matt. What's up, folks? Good to see you guys. Good to talk to you guys. My name is Jeff Forrest, VP of Economic and Workforce Development here at the college. That's a long title, so let me break it down to you. My goal is to work with companies to help them run better, to make them more profitable by training their people. And so we provide training solutions for their employees so that those employees can become more productive. In addition, what we do is we work with a number of other colleges to assist them in developing and creating programs that help put people back to work. So a lot of what you're going to be hearing about with this COVID-19 and the economy and all the unemployment, we're right in the middle of it. And we're expecting to see a lot of people come to our college looking for the skills that they need to get back into the economy. With that said, why did I come here? Why did I come to the community college? Because the community college is the place where you can really get on an equal playing field. It's accessible, it's accredited, it's agile in terms of working with students, working with companies, and working in the community. The community college is the place where if you're the underdog and people may count you out, that's the place to rebuild your life. It's the place to rebound after a setback, things of that nature. The community college is just a great place to get you together. If you don't know what you want to do with your life, if you don't know what you want to major in, you don't want to spend $50,000 at a university. You want to go to a community college where it costs you little to nothing, figure all those questions out. And for me, it's being able to give back. Being at the community college allows me to touch lives of students who I generally might not meet if I was in a university or in some other type of setting. And so that's why I chose community college, and that's why I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Lead us into our first question in terms of, why we asked Jeff to be here is in this day and age when everything has now been shifted online, and even for future, when everything is not online, we go back to our new normal, whatever that may be, and the importance of communication. What we learn and how we learn to communicate with instructors, counselors, staff members on campus, and how we do that in this digital world in terms of text, emails, Zoom meetings, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to get started with our first question. How often should we be checking our emails and texts, and how quickly should we be responding to an instructor or other?
Yeah, let me go ahead and take that one first. Number one, having been an instructor for 8 years, let me say this, and I'm gonna put it to you this way. If you're sitting on a 69 at the end of the semester, and that's a D, right? If you guys don't know it, now you do. A 69 is a D in most classes, and a 70 is a C. And I'm talking to you players who are expecting to transfer, and you can't have no D's on that transcript if you're going to transfer those credits. If you're sitting on a 69, and I'm talking as an instructor, somebody who's done this for years, working with students, if you were in my class, you responded to my emails, you acted like you was interested and you was trying to make a good faith effort, but for whatever reason, some things happened and you're on that 69, I'll boost you up to a 70 because I knew you had your heart in the right place and you showed love and respect for the class and for me. And so I'm gonna help you out. And I don't know a teacher who's not like that. But if you haven't been in the class, you kind of checked out, you was always too tired to really engage in the class and answer emails, I had to chase you down, you're probably gonna end up with a 69 because you didn't show any respect. And so that's really the lesson. It's not so much how often you should check your emails, it's what kind of grade do you want? What do you want the teacher to think about you? If you're looking for respect from the teacher, you got to show respect to the teacher. You just can't get respect. You got to give respect too. And so how often should you check your emails? As if it was your girlfriend. That's how often you should check your email. Your emails to your teacher, it's as if she was your lady. calling you to come over to her house. That's how often you should be checking your email, because your instruction and your coursework, that's your future. That's going to determine the kind of job you want, how kind of digits you're going to be putting in your pocket. And so why would you not be all urgent with trying to check your email? And so how often as you possibly could, treat your teacher like your lady. When she emails you, bam, you write back on it, you email them back. You'll be surprised what that will do at the end of the semester when it comes time to get that boost in your grade. They look at that stuff. It's called attendance points. And every teacher has attendance points in their syllabus. So think about that. Make sure that you're on top of it as if they're about to put money in your account. That's how you should be on that with those emails.
That's awesome.
I just want to you touched upon a topic that I want to stress to student athletes who are watching this, and then even just students in general. Be proactive, right? Like Jeff said, if you're sitting in that bubble and life had happened during the class at some point, whatever, for whatever reason, and you don't know about it, or we don't know about it as a teacher, it's hard for us to help you. So reach out, communicate as soon as possible whenever that stuff's going on, so that the teacher understands, hey, maybe you missed a point or two here and there, but let's work with you because of X, Y, and Z. So that's a good point.
Yeah, and if you got something going on where you didn't get things done, just simply fess up. Don't worry about it. Teachers human too. Teachers are not aliens from another planet. They're people just like you, and they have flaws. And so if you messed up, say I messed up. Say I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I didn't take care of business. How can I make it up? Just don't avoid the teacher, because then what that does is it gives you a credibility problem. And then at the end of the semester, when you're trying to plead your grade, you're not going to get any love because you didn't handle your business when you should have. And so if you messed up somewhere and the teacher emails you and says, hey, where's this assignment? Tell them, hey, listen, I want to apologize. I didn't get to it the way I should have. I'll get it to you by this date. And if you give them a date and time, be real with it. Don't just give them a date and time to get them off the email thread. Give it to them and make sure you deliver, because that's going to also go well for you.
That's awesome. You're answering a bunch of questions right now. And I think to hit on this point that you're on right now is when a teacher sends out an assignment or sends out a message, what goes on in their mind when you don't respond or you don't do it?
Let me speak
on one, but I want to hit it from the other side too.
Yeah, definitely. Again, as a former faculty member who again spent a number of years teaching classes, all kinds of classes to individuals like the ones who are listening to this Zoom, listen to me very carefully. The teacher, when they send out an email, they're always looking to see who will respond and when they will respond. And they can tell you how they're going to do in the class by how soon they respond to those emails and how they respond to those emails. So what's in my head is this. There's two things in my head. One is making sure that the student understands the email that I'm sending. And then number two, to make sure that the student shows enough respect for the class and for themselves to respond in a timely manner. That's what's going on in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Great point.
All right. Kind of goes on to our next question then is, what do you think the difference is between communicating with friends, coaches, counselors, instructors? What's the biggest difference in that?
Yeah, let me talk about two kinds of communication when, since we're all communicating online, digitally, social media and all of that, there's two kinds of communication. There's effective communication and there's stupid communication. There really is. Those are the only two kinds. There's no middle one between it. You're either communicating effectively or you're doing what's called stupid communication. And so let me tell you guys a story. It's a true story. I'm going to send Matt the actual Twitter storm that took place. There was this young lady. She just got an internship with NASA. And so she started cussing up a storm saying, get back, you bees. I'm an intern with NASA. And then someone else who was on the Twitter feed said, language. In other words, watch your language. She said, F you. You can blank my blank. You can do this and you can do that. And they said, well, that's interesting, seeing that I sit on the National Security Council, which oversees NASA. And just like that, she lost her internship. So, and again, I'm going to send that to Matt. He can share it with you guys so that you guys don't think this is hype. I'm going to send you some examples of what I call stupid communication, where people lost big stuff doing stupid stuff. So let's talk about that. Let's separate those who are faculty, from coaches, from teammates and friends. So you got three groups: faculty, coaches, teammates, and friends. So you got Albert here, right? Albert's a little bit of both. He counsels you, he works with you, he coaches you, and then in some cases, he may be your teacher. You have to communicate with him on two different levels. So when he's in the classroom, you can't treat him as if y'all on the field, because the other students, that makes him look less respected. So you got to treat him as if you don't know him from that standpoint. And so if he wants to be called Albert, call him Albert. If he wants to be called Al, call him Al. If he wants to be called Mr. Loaiza, then call him Mr. Loaiza. Whatever it is that he wants you to call him, and I hope I said it right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so whatever, whatever he's asking you to do, you got to, treat it just like that. There's a formality. And so let me give you the formality scale. If you're hanging around your friends and your teammates, that's low formality. But then when you get to your coaches and your counselors, that it goes up. And then when you're faculty, it even goes up a little higher than that. And so when you're dealing with your faculty, those are the ones that get the highest level of formality, because they're the ones who are teaching you, they're instructing you, they expect respect, they deserve respect. And so that's in an email. You don't want to use abbreviations. You don't want to use Twitter language. You want to use English, real English. So if you're into all of that, you're going to have to learn to speak English when you're talking to your professor, because they may have been at College of the Canyons for 30 years and they might not even be on Twitter. I'm just being real with you. And so you've got to speak English to these faculty members so that they can understand what's going on. And they don't speak the language of hip hop. They don't speak the language of the millennials. They don't speak the language of the hood. And so if you bring that language to them, and they don't know what to do with your message. So you've got to refine your message and make sure it's a little bit more formal. Albert, did you have anything with that?
Yeah, I mean, I would just add, even, every semester, and in my counseling class, I talk about communication in different lines of communication. And then it's not easy for any student, whether an athlete or not, from semester to semester, they are now not only having to understand how to communicate to faculty as in the broad scope, but now they have specific faculty and how they want to be communicated with. Some instructors want to be called Mr. or Mrs. or Doctor or whatever the case may be. Some, call them by the first name, some sir, some ma'am, who knows, right? And in terms of how they communicate. So it is an art form. And in college, I think for college students, all of us being former college students and speaking to the current ones right now, this is the time to practice that, right? This is the time to practice and also fail at communication, understanding when to speak certain ways, how to communicate with certain individuals, right? Understanding how to navigate that, because once into the workforce, when those lines of communication shrink, right? When you only have maybe one manager or one supervisor or a couple instead of many, you are able to refine that skill. So it's definitely practice, right? This is the time, trial and error. You're not only learning in the classroom, you're learning outside of the classroom how to navigate with individuals, right?
Exactly. And talking about coaches and staff, I remember when I was at the University of Missouri, St. Louis, and we were at basketball practice, and the number one guy on the team, I mean, he was good, and he was good by far. And so everybody was leaning on this guy to help lead us to the playoffs. And apparently, during practice, a little scuffle broke out, as it does on the court. It does on the football team. It all happens because everybody's passionate. Everybody's trying to get work done, right? And so that's what happened here. And a little fight broke out. The coach went to break it up. And the guy who's the starter team decided to cuss the coach out. Just cussed him out, told me he would kick his, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, I'm not going to use the words I use if we were in person, because this is on the internet and all of that. And so, but when we get in person, we'll go to that level. But right now, let's just keep it in church. The fact is that, the coach right there on the spot told him to go home, pack, and sent him home. He was done with the team. And so here's my point. You got a coaching staff that's not afraid to fire you. That's your problem. You can't be so good that the coaches that you have who are leading you on this football team will say, oh, well, we got to put up with so-and-so. There ain't nobody on the coaching staff that'll put up with you. And if word gets out that you're uncoachable, don't matter how much talent you got, you're not going anywhere. I've known guys who've serious talent didn't make it any place. I mean, nowhere, because they were just too full of themselves. And so you got to show respect for the coach as if the coach was your employer. Remember, it is the coach who writes the letter to the school that you want to transfer to. They're the ones who go write that support letter. They're the ones who are going to talk about your character. If you're on the team and you're in the game, the other teams that are folks who are at the game are going to call your coach. They're not going to call you. They don't even have your number. They don't want to talk to you. They're going to talk to your coach and say, who is this guy? What is he like? And so you definitely want to make sure that you don't get on the bad side of your coach by just being stupid with your attitude, having a nasty attitude. Look, we all have problems. We all have bills. We all got stuff going on that make life, just depressing at times. But don't take it out on your teammates and don't take it out on your coaching staff, because that's not going to do anything but lead you into a bunch of trouble and make a bad situation worse. And so if you got a problem or an issue and it looks like maybe you got somebody pregnant, let's just go to that place, and you're upset, you're pissed. I get it. I understand. I've talked to I don't know how many guys who've been in the same boat. Don't take it out on your coach. Don't take it out on your career counselor. Don't take it out on your teachers. Don't take it out on your teammates. Go to somebody you trust within your coaching staff and say, hey, look, this is what I got going on. I ain't ready to be a dad, blah, blah, blah. The coach, you ain't the first person that came to them.
Yeah.
And if they send you to me, you definitely ain't the first person that came to me. And we'll talk you through it. We'll walk you through that thing. So don't just, go into that place and have that nasty attitude because, life just got kind of messed up for you with that. Don't do that, because that's not going to solve any problems either. Everybody, we get it. A whole lot of people broke right now, not just you. We understand you're struggling. We understand everybody go through life with problems. When I was in college, I stayed broke too. So I get it. For real, I really do. And so what I'm saying is, but you got to step up and say, hey, man, I'm dealing with some issues right now. Can we talk? And let's see if we can walk you through some stuff. But show respect at all times.
Just to piggyback real quick before we move on to the next question, what you were saying, Jeff, 100% true. And Matt, Coach Crater, as the hat of a football coach, probably can chime in on this as well. I was on a call just last week with a Division I coach who's recruiting one of our COC student athletes on campus, and 10% of the conversation, the first 10% in our Zoom meeting was, okay, how are his grades? When is he going to graduate? The logistical information. The rest of the 90% of the conversation I had with him was about character, was about, responsibility, maturity, interpersonal skills, relationships on campus, things of that sort, right? And, I like to tell a lot of our student athletes, your transcripts are black and white. They know your GPA and what you're getting. Obviously with your sport, they talk to the coach about skill set and what you can do. But a lot of Division I institutions now are calling counselors or staff members on campus to find out, hey, what is the maturity level of this student? What can he or she do? What have they been doing? Interpersonal skills. Can they handle leaving your institution, coming to ours and being on their own? Things like that. So.
Yep.
That's perfect. I'll hit on one more aspect of that and then we can move on as well. But the coaches of the programs that you want to go to, they're going to do that. They're going to ask Albert. They're going to ask myself. They're going to ask one of your coaches. They're going to ask multiple of your coaches. They might even ask your teachers if they can get a hold of their phone numbers, who you are, everything they can get about you. The programs you want to go to, they're going to do their homework on you. And that's the way you should want it. So it all kind of comes back on it. And I think that's a perfect lead into our next question as well is how does learning to communicate like this, affect us beyond College of the Canyons, whether it's at our next college or, later on as we go into the workforce?
Good question for Jeff.
Yeah.
He does. Yes. Great question.
Yeah, it definitely serves as an asset, something that will bring value to your ability to separate yourself from everybody else. Look, there's a whole lot of guys who want what you got. It's a competition out there. It's a jungle out there. So you've got to do the things that keep you distinct from everybody else, that separate you from everybody else. And one of the things that you can do to make sure that you're at the top of everybody's list is, number one, have a good, solid character that everybody speaks of in terms of your reputation, your work ethic, your commitment to team, your ability to be teachable, your ability to be honest, and your ability to handle problems. That's your reputation. And then the character and the communication, they go together. How you communicate is an expression of who you are as a man inside. And so if you are living the kind of life where you want people to recognize you for being all those great things of honest and being hardworking and being a team player and all of those things, then your communication should reflect the man that you're trying to be on the inside. That means being courteous. It means being professional. It means having good grammar. It means looking the person in the face when you're talking to them and being completely honest about your faults, your flaws, your mess ups, your hangups. It's all of that rolled into one. It's a package, see? And what that does for you is it shows the person who is talking to you that they're dealing with someone they can trust. And let me tell you this, there are employers who will hire someone they can trust who may be second or third in terms of talent over someone who's first in talent who they can't trust every day of the week. Let me say that again. If I'm looking at people to hire, if I trust you and you're not the best, but you're close and I can train you, I'll hire you first. And the guy who I think is going to mess things up for my team, they'll never get a job. I don't care how good they are. I really don't. I don't want the trouble. I don't want the disruption in my situation. And so that's really the key, is if you can gain the trust of others by being a smart communicator with a good, positive attitude and a mature disposition and a good reputation, that will take you further than your GPA. It'll take you further than your talent. It'll take you further than anything else, not just in terms of athletics, but in life as well.
That's beautiful. I love it. I think this is a great, you've kind of confirmed the reason why we asked you to be here and say what you have to say, because this is something that all of our student athletes need to hear and beyond. I mean, you do such a great job with everybody on campus and the community. And it's nice. And we appreciate the fact that you're willing to work and that you take a part in the student athletes on campus, because they definitely need to hear from you. So that's all I have. Albert, if you want to add.
Yeah, I think that was a great way to end this interview or talk about communication and how that benefits all our student athletes now and then in the future. And you touched upon that, Jeff. Trust. I mean, that goes far beyond what many people can really grasp, right? In terms of currently, right now, in any situation you're in, moving forward towards the future. Just echo what Matt said. We appreciate you so much for jumping on the call and sharing your wisdom, right, and your experience in this this short talk. But we really appreciate it. And student athletes or students who are going to be hearing this, hopefully seeing this, regardless of sex, race, ethnicity, who knows, whatever the case may be, you need to communicate, and we need to get better at it. And we're here to help. So thank you guys so much.
And thank you guys for the opportunity. And to those of you who will be listening to this Zoom, hey, listen, we're here. Matt has my email. If you guys want to send me an email, I'm on LinkedIn. He can give you my communications information, contact information. I'll be happy to talk with you guys as well. And just know that we're here to support you. We're here to help you move forward. And we're here to help open doors for you. And we wish you guys all the best during this time.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.